What do you do, a lot of that, did you ever notice kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 small details you never noticed in Seinfeld.
You know, George, that's an onion.
Yes, it is.
For this list, we'll be looking at the coolest Easter eggs or fun hidden details that even the most dedicated fan may have missed. Did you spot any of these? Or perhaps you noticed something completely different? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Call for Cartwright. Or is that Costanza? No episode was arguably more quintessential to the show about nothing setup than the Chinese restaurant. The sharp and witty humor was so brilliant that we didn't even mind that the entire premise involved the gang minus Kramer just waiting for a table.
Where am I? Is this a dream? What in God's name is going on here?
During their lengthy wait, George hopes for a callback from an angry lover called Tatiana. But when she calls, the maitre d' mistakenly calls out for Cartwright.
She called. He yelled Cartwright. I missed it.
Who's Cartwright?
I'm Cartwright.
Seinfeld writer Spike Feresten eventually revealed this was no random name. The host was evidently a fan of the Western series Bonanza, featuring a protagonist called Ben Cartwright. That title coincidentally rhymes with Costanza. It's so simple, yet so brilliant.
Cartwright! Cartwright! Just like that. Nobody came up, I hang up.
Number 19. Ruthie the Cashier. After numerous rewatches, you probably started paying more attention to the details of the gang's favorite hangout spots.
I want the complete opposite of tuna on toast. Chicken salad on rye. Untoasted, with a side of potato salad and a cup of tea.
For instance, you might have spotted Monk's Cafe's typically silent, eponymously named cashier, Ruthie Cohen. She's practically the fifth group member. Ruthie appears in more Seinfeld episodes than any other character outside the core four. She can also be seen outside the diner in episodes like The Doll. In The Gum, we finally hear her speak. After George repeatedly accuses her of shortchanging him, she politely informs him that his car is on fire and adds a cheery season's greetings for good measure.
Listen, lady, I got 6 minutes left on that meter, and I'm not budging until you admit you stole my $20. You're not so tough when you're not on your horse, are you, Ruthie?
Your car's on fire.
Next time you rewatch this classic comedy, you'll probably find your eyes wandering over to Ruthie more often. Number 18. No applause, please. Many sitcoms are known for their canned laughter and well-timed applause. However, Seinfeld typically wasn't one of them.
And who else is on the show?
Elaine could be a character. Kramer.
Now he's a character.
A large portion of the show was filmed in front of a live audience. That, of course, came with its challenges. Originally, when Kramer entered a scene, he'd be met with such a raucous round of applause that it would throw off the flow of filming.
Hey, we're ordering Chinese food. If you want anything, let me know what it is, and I'll order it for you.
Audiences were instructed to tone down their enthusiasm for a while. Eventually, Kramer's long ovations all but disappeared. Hearing applause during our umpteenth rewatch of the earlier seasons now feels a bit odd.
What is it? You're interrupting.
Oh, well, you know, I'm packing for Puerto Rico. I need to borrow your bathing suit.
This is an emergency. You need a bathing suit?
Well, I like yours.
Number 17. The Son of Sam Gag. In the 1970s, America was gripped by the horrifying story of New York's infamous serial killer David Berkowitz, also known as Son of Sam.
The serial killer known as Son of Sam terrorized New York City from 1976 to 1977.
The notorious criminal said that he'd been following the instructions of his neighbor's dog. We guess the Seinfeld writers saw the potential for comedy in such an obscure case and drew several parallels in the season 7 premiere. Firstly, Elaine, Kramer, and Newman plan on kidnapping a neighbor's incessantly barking dog. There's also the moment where George mistakenly hears Son of Sam instead of Jerry's van.
Is this Seinfeld's van? Seinfeld's van! Seinfeld's van!
Wait, what's he saying?
I think he's saying Son of Sam. Oh my God!
However, the eeriest comparison happens when the cops knock on Newman's door, and he echoes the exact words Berkowitz uttered when he was arrested.
What took you so long?
Number 16, riffing on the iconic theme song. Whether you've watched the series once or 100 times, Seinfeld's theme music is instantly recognizable.
People would know. They would see you walking down the hall going, that's one of those suction cup guys.
However, did you know that multiple variations of this iconic tune exist? Theme composer Jonathan Wolfe revealed why this disparity exists. Since the length of Jerry's stand-up monologues varied, the music had to be altered accordingly. He divulged the brilliant simplicity of the melody and how he created its unique sound using his mouth and fingers as percussion.
And I had his attention.
Wolfe also shared that Seinfeld's lyrical comedic delivery inspired the tune. Apparently, NBC execs didn't warm up to it immediately, but Larry David fought to keep it. We're glad he did, because we cannot imagine a more fitting theme tune.
I survived. Let's see if you can.
Number 15, Kalman Seinfeld. Unless you're an eagle-eyed Jerry Seinfeld superfan who spent many hours reading up on the comedian's life, you probably missed this homage to his real father.
My father has never thrown anything out, ever.
The comedian has often spoken about his dad's comedic talents and ever-growing collection of jokes. While it might have been fun to see the older Seinfeld crack a few gags in an episode or two, Jerry honored his father in a different way. In the background of several scenes, detail-oriented viewers might have noticed an ad reading Cal's signs. This is a sweet nod to the actor's dad, who actually created signs for a living. This Easter egg is rather heartwarming for a show that famously avoided warmth and sentimentality.
What is this salty discharge?
Oh my God, you're crying.
This is horrible.
Number 14, the Skip Barber Racing School Magnet. Jerry Seinfeld is a major car enthusiast, but his love for vehicles goes far beyond his extensive Porsche collection. If you're a race car fan with a keen eye for detail, you may have noticed a Skip Barber Racing School magnet on Jerry's fridge.
All right, I got a test to fill.
Hey, good luck with that.
It turns out this is another reference to the actor's real life. In celebration of his 40th birthday, Seinfeld traded in the comedy circuit for the racetrack and completed a race driver course. According to his instructor, Randy Buck, quote, he started slowly, but by the third day, he was the most aggressive student of the bunch and was clearly the fastest. Well, as in comedy, it's all about the timing.
Where's the punchline?
Well, it's all attitude.
Number 13, all of the cars. Have we mentioned that Jerry Seinfeld is a car aficionado? While cars weren't often at the forefront of this show about nothing, some notable models made cameos every now and again.
You know what? This car was owned by John Voight.
You see? I told you.
Except John is spelled with an H.
For instance, the Assman car in Fusilli Jerry is a 1973 Chevrolet Impala. The ride Jerry buys his dad is a Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham in the Cadillac.
Jerry, look at this. My seat's got a memory. In case somebody moves it. I could be in prison for 5 years. I come out, my seat goes right back to where I like it.
That's what I was thinking.
There's a 1969 Buick LeSabre in the parking space, and you can spot the Saab 900 NG convertible behind Jerry in the dealership.
Finder's fee.
Finder's fee was on the lot.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, George channels his inner bad boy with a 1967 Pontiac GTO, although he says it's a 68 GTO. We can't believe a car buff like Jerry let that slide. In any case, these were cool shout-outs for Jerry's fellow motor enthusiasts. Number 12, Jerry's cereal box collection. Did you ever notice that Jerry has a considerable collection of cereals in his apartment? Even if you did, have you ever tried to count how many or take a closer look at their names? Author Josh Levine believes he has the answers. In his book, Jerry Seinfeld, Much Ado About Nothing, he recalled counting, quote, no less than 17 boxes of cereal. He noted that they're all relatively popular brands. Apparently, these boxes all nod to Seinfeld's genuine love of the breakfast food.
No, I know what I want.
The usual.
Yeah.
And for you?
I'll have a bowl of Cheerios, not too much milk.
Okay, 2 bowls of Cheerios.
Small quirks like these made the show more relatable and helped it defy the test of time. However, some fans believe his impressive selection was just to maintain Kramer's insatiable appetite.
I don't want to put a damper on your little smorgasbord here, but it's the end of the week, so I added up your tab.
You got
Yeah, I know, pretty steep.
Well, I don't have this kind of cash.
Few do.
Number 11. Does Jerry ever ride that bicycle? One of the most defining features of Jerry's apartment is the bicycle hanging on the wall. But can you recall what type of bike it was?
We will cut the bike down the middle and give half to each of you.
What? This is your solution? To ruin the bike?
If you said a Klein mountain bike, you'd be right. But if you said Cannondale Super Killer V, you'd also be correct. Though seemingly always in the same place, the bicycle changed a few times throughout the show's 9-season run. Supposedly, the Klein belonged to Michael Richards, a cyclist in real life.
Hey, you're riding a girl's bike!
Anyway, we could endlessly debate what color or what brand we remember hanging up next to Jerry's bathroom. But the real question is, since we never actually saw him cycle, why did Jerry have a bicycle on his wall at all? Number 10. OJ, a name that will never be infamous. Like the rest of the country at the time, the Seinfeld writers were obsessed with the O.J. Simpson trial. Jackie Childs is actually a direct parody of Johnny Cochran.
I've been practicing law for 25 years. You listening to a caddy? This is a public humiliation. You can't let the defendant have control of the key piece of evidence. Plus, she's trying it on over a leotard. Of course, a bra's not going to fit on over a leotard. A bra's got to fit right up against a person's skin. Like a glove!
Even before the Simpson murder case, Seinfeld unintentionally foreshadowed the famed athlete's fall from grace.
The whole city is talking about this monster, Joel Rifkin, and I am dating a Joel Rifkin.
But you like your Joel Rifkin.
Yeah, I just wish he had a different name.
Ask him to change it.
Elaine dates a man named Joel Rifkin. Since he shares the same name as a notorious serial killer, Elaine suggests several alternatives while reading from a magazine, including OJ.
OJ! OJ Rifkin! Oh, you don't even use a name, it's just initials. Oh, please, please, please change your name to OJ. Please, it would be so great.
Elaine, what is going on?
If Joel did change his name to OJ, he probably would have changed it again almost 7 months later when Simpson was arrested. Ironically, not everyone knows who Joel Rifkin is nowadays. But O.J. Simpson remains a household name for all the wrong reasons.
Joel Rifkin, report to the stadium office. Joel Rifkin, telephone.
Who would be calling me here?
He's not the murderer.
Number 9. The Bizarro Jerry Statue. Jerry has made it no secret that he's a huge Superman fan. We're kinda surprised he didn't notice the resemblance between Becky Gelke and Supergirl, seeing as how they share actress Helen Slater in common, but whatever.
You're, Superman's best friend, huh?
No. His cousin. I've come here to search for the Omega Hedron. It's a power source vital to Argo City.
Jerry's Superman statue is one of his apartment's most recognizable decorations. So, it only makes sense that Jerry's Bizarro counterpart would possess the opposite. Elaine develops a friendship with her kindly ex-boyfriend Kevin, who is deemed the Bizarro Jerry.
He's like your exact opposite.
So he's Bizarro Jerry.
Bizarro Jerry?
Yeah, like Bizarro Superman. Superman's exact opposite, who lives in the backwards Bizarro world.
Elaine comes to see what Jerry is talking about when she arrives at Kevin's Fortress of Solitude. It's a backwards version of Jerry's apartment, with a unicycle hanging on the wall instead of a bike, and most notably, a Bizarro Superman statue.
Hi, Jean. What's up?
What's next? David Puddy is the Man of Steel?
That's super hearing.
Yeah, but it's not surround sound. I mean surround sound. It's like you're there.
What are you talking about?
Number 8. Green 22. Unable to shut down an actual parking garage for this classic episode, the crew constructed a replica and dismantled the show's set in the process.
Let's take the sets down and we'll build one.
We had to dismantle the entire set.
And they made a parking garage in our stage, and they put mirrors along every wall.
Just to create the illusion of being in one of these structures.
Using mirrors and camera tricks, they made the garage look bigger than it was. Michael Richards went the extra mile, insisting on carrying a box with a real air conditioner inside.
Jerry, are you aware that adult diapers are a $600 million a year industry?
Maybe I should just go anytime I get the urge, like you, wherever I am. There's too much urinary freedom in this society. I'm proud to hold it in. It builds character.
Speaking of Kramer, he says early on that they parked in green 22, but Jerry says it was the orange section.
Where's the car?
Well, I thought it was here.
You don't know where we parked? This is great.
Look, I thought it was green 22.
I remember orange. I thought it was orange.
I didn't pay attention.
When they do finally find the car, it's in the green section around the 20s. So if the gang had just listened to Kramer, they could have avoided a series of misadventures. Of course, even if they did, the car still wouldn't have started, which wasn't originally in the script.
The car was a pile of junk, and it didn't start.
When that car didn't start, I knew instantly we had a blow.
Number 7, Jerry's apartment number. If you are a Seinfeld superfan, you'll know that Jerry lives in apartment 5A.
I'm on no sleep. No sleep. You don't know what it's like in there. All night long, things are creaking and cracking, and that red light is burning my brain.
You look a little stressed.
Oh, I'm stressed.
If you're a Next Level fan, you likely noticed that Jerry's apartment number has changed a couple of times.
You don't think it might have had anything to do with that?
Well, you don't like this?
Looks like your belt is digesting a small animal.
During the show's infancy, Jerry lives in apartment 411. In the season 2 episode The Phone Message, the number changes to 3A. One episode later, the apartment number appears as 5A for the first time, remaining that way for the rest of the series.
They rehearse all the time?
All the time. I've been up there 6 times. They refuse to stop. I can't live like this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm heading for a breakdown. Can't you do something?
I'm not going up. It stinks up there.
What could this all mean? Well, season 4, episode 11 is The Contest, arguably the show's best episode. Jerry hangs out with 3 friends, and 5 is the number of episodes in the first season. So this all amounts to absolutely nothing, which we guess is fitting for this show.
I'm out.
What?
Number 6, Cosmo Kessler? It's surreal watching the Seinfeld pilot now. There's no Elaine, Jerry and George converse at Pete's Luncheonette rather than Monk's Cafe, and Kramer is named Kessler. Jerry's wacky neighbor is based on co-creator Larry David's former neighbor, Kenny Kramer.
Kramer was based on my real next-door neighbor, Kenny Kramer. My neighbor was a guy who would come in, take a lot of my food, and he was a guy who didn't work, really. Or if he did, nobody really knew what he did.
David initially resisted calling the character Kramer, but the name was just too perfect to pass up. Kenny Kramer thus made several demands, including that he play Kramer.
But you can do it on one condition.
Whatever you want.
I get to play Kramer.
You can't play Kramer.
I am Kramer.
But you can't act.
When that didn't pan out, he started Kramer's reality tour.
When I decided I was going to shamelessly cash in on my illustrious name, I came up with this concept that what I need to do is create a brand. Something that you wouldn't mistake me for Cosmo. I figured his hair as long goes up, I have long hair, it goes down.
Both of these real-life incidents inspired storylines in Season 4 and Season 8. The writers also explained the Kessler mix-up in a Season 9 flashback when Jerry meets Kramer. By the way, the apartment number was 5A when Jerry first moved in.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, hi. I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I'm moving in. I saw your name on the buzzer. You must be Kessler.
No, actually, it's Kramer.
Number 5, a Fusilli collection. Kramer spends most of his time at Jerry's abode, but occasionally we glimpse through apartment 5B's reverse peephole.
Kramer, it's Silvio. Open up, I need to talk to you. I can see you through the reverse peephole.
Hey, Silvio!
Even in his own apartment, Kramer likes to keep Jerry close, hanging his headshot near the entrance.
Hey, what is going on? It stinks in here. What are you doing?
I got the Kavorka, Jerry.
The Kavorka, what is that?
The lure of the animal. No, I'm dangerous.
Well, what is this thing around your neck?
The priests are helping me. I just bathed in vinegar.
That's not the only eyebrow-raising item you might find when Kramer opens his door. Who keeps a kitchen pot on a shelf like that? But what do you expect from a guy who cooks in the shower? Whatever Kramer is cooking, fusilli is not on the menu. Kramer would rather use the pasta to make a little Jerry statue.
There you go, buddy. What is it?
It's Fusilli Jerry. It's made from fusilli pasta.
While we're all familiar with Fusilli Jerry, ever notice that in the following seasons, Kramer has other pasta figurines displayed behind his couch? Here's hoping that Frank never sat on any of them. Number 4, the OG Frank Costanza. Most of us saw Seinfeld for the first time in reruns.
I don't think you did such a good job of these.
What?
You're supposed to see your face in there. Do you see your face in there?
If you caught season 4's The Handicap spot when it first aired, though, you might have noticed that Frank Costanza looked and sounded nothing like Jerry Stiller in his debut episode.
8 years I had that car. Not a scratch on it. 8 years.
2 crack.
3 dat. Beautiful Mercury. I special ordered that.
That's because he was originally played by John Randolph. When Stiller subsequently took on the role, Larry David insisted on reshooting Frank's scenes in this episode for syndication.
They would keep rerunning the handicap spot with John Randolph, and it would seem odd that George would have 2 different fathers. So I prevailed upon Castle Rock and NBC to let me reshoot those scenes with John Randolph and replace him with Jerry Stiller.
David wanted to do the same for Jerry's father, who was played by Phil Bruns in season 1 and recast with Barney Martin in season 2. By this point, however, the actors had gotten older, and there would have been a noticeable age difference. As for Randolph, you can still find his episode on DVD.
You're under arrest.
Under arrest? What for?
Reckless endangerment of public safety in violation of Traffic Code 342-A.
What's that?
Parking in a handicap spot.
Number 3, Larry David cameos. George Costanza was largely based on Larry David. While David didn't play George on the show, he did pop up on occasion.
Oh, yeah, it is. Should we say hello?
I've never seen him in Manhattan before. It's weird. He's so out of context.
That man he's with. Is he wearing a cape?
Throughout the series, you can spot David as Frank Costanza's caped lawyer, the cashier who gives back George's lipsticked $20 bill, a sci-fi movie actor, and a background character when Kramer gets arrested in season 4.
Jerry! George!
You're under arrest for first-degree murder.
David also made several voiceover cameos, including a beachgoer who inquires about a marine biologist, an inmate who heckles Jerry in the finale, and George Steinbrenner. He even voiced Newman off-screen in his debut episode, which was re-recorded with Wayne Knight for syndication.
Kramer!
That's Newman.
I'm on the road!
Once I got the part, Larry, being a stickler for detail, said that when we go to syndication, I'm going to have you record this so that it'll be alpha omega.
Even after David left the show, they worked his name into the Boca Breeze newsletter, detailing his struggles on the golf course. Number 2, hiding Julia Louis-Dreyfus's pregnancy. Elaine never had a baby throughout the show's 9 seasons, but Julia Louis-Dreyfus gave birth to 2 sons during this time.
Elaine, you gotta have a baby. Oh, hey, you know, I had a piece of whitefish over at Barney Greengrass the other day.
Elaine,
and I
moved to Long Island and have a baby already?
In season 3's second half, the creators found a few ways to hide her pregnancy. The subway is a standout example, where Elaine wears a heavy coat and carries around a large present.
It's ironic.
What's ironic? This. That we've come all this way. We made all this progress, but, you know, we lost the little things, the niceties. No, I mean, what does ironic mean?
Ironically, in another episode where a woman thinks she might be pregnant with George's baby, Louis-Dreyfus hid her own baby bump behind baggy clothes and a newspaper. When Louis-Dreyfus became pregnant again in season 8, Seinfeld suggested a storyline where, quote, Elaine just gets fat. This idea made Louis-Dreyfus, quote, burst into tears, however. Thus, Elaine broke out her heavy wardrobe again, even going on a shopping spree to spite the Putumayo proprietor.
Hola.
Shove it.
What is all this?
I got all of this junk at Cinco de Mayo because I was trying to show Punta Mayo how much business they'd lost.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Jerry's Video Collection. Whenever we get a glimpse of Jerry's VHS collection, we always break out the pause button.
When I was 8, I had a deaf cousin who lived with us for about a year. Of course, I haven't been able to do it in a while.
What is this about?
I met this deaf lineswoman at the tennis match.
With Arachnophobia, The Crying Game, and 2 copies of True Colors, Jerry has solid taste. But some of these movies raise questions. For starters, Jerry owns Child's Play 2, starring Grace Zabriskie, who plays Susan's mother, Mrs. Ross.
Get into my office. Is this your idea of a joke? Don't give me that.
Amazing, isn't it? In the midst of all the horror movies, Jerry has Pretty Woman, which features George Costanza himself, Jason Alexander.
When Edward was with me, he didn't blow off billion-dollar deals. I think that Edward's with you. That's what I think.
And that's not the only connection to Alexander and Jerry's collection. He also has a couple of tapes for the sitcom Dinosaurs, which Alexander occasionally lent his voice to.
I got your kid, you got mine. Guess we got our eggs scrambled, huh? Eggs scrambled, hey, that's great.
Hey, thanks for taking care of the kid.
We're not sure how that works, but honestly, we just want to know who Jerry thinks would win in a fight, Chucky or Baby Sinclair. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.